Morning guys, different environment today. I'm in the workshop, a lot more relevant than my first video. I just filmed that at home. It's fairly early. I'm not usually here this early in the morning. Well, some days I am, but yeah. So I thought I'd basically do a brief introduction of the workshop, because you're going to want to know where I work out of, how I produce what I produce. This is what I've had for, I've been in the unit for 2.5 years. I've had the machines about 8 months into taking on the unit. And I've kind of been building things up from that point. I had all the machines bought in from Scott & Sargent. I'm going to just briefly show you what they are. I'll do it now. I'll have to do it from this view, because I can't, without stopping the video, I can't rotate the camera around again. You know, I'm probably going to look to possibly get some better filming device really. I'm just filming this off my phone. So I'm just at the front of the unit, like kind of looking back. So that's kind of looking back into the shop. So yeah, I've got a big pile of offcuts. If you're vigilant, that's going to kind of get sorted and sent out and got rid of. So let's just kind of talk about the machines. This here is my bandsaw. Start right. It's a nice bandsaw. Good price point. Cuts really well. Goes through quite thick timber, no problem. Really nice little handy tool to have. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to afford to get a bandsaw with the investment that I was going to do with the tools, but I saved some money on the panel saw, and it allowed me to get the bandsaw. And I wasn't going to prioritise over a bandsaw, but I'm super glad that I got it, because it is really coming. Just little things, just to speed things up, things that you don't necessarily think about, and yeah, it's going to end up being another staple kind of machine of the business. Let's kind of move on to, I'm not going to get it all in the camera, but unfortunately this is really frustrating for me, but this is the panel saw. It's a good big saw, my biggest investment machinery wise. iTech, Scott & Sargent, they supplied all my machinery. I went down to their showroom, great place, got some amazing machines, and it's just nice to, you know, see these companies that have, you know, they've got machines for people like myself that are literally starting from the ground up to, you know, massive machines. So it's nice that, you know, you've got the facility and they've got the knowledge to on both ends. You know, they're pretty clued up. So yeah, we'll move over to the next machine, and it's covered up. I tend to cover it up because you know, if you're in the woodworking industry, you get that fine dust settle. I am actually going to have one of these air filtration systems that kind of minimises that a little bit, and I'll let you know how that goes really, because that's something I've never used, or you know, we did have like quite a big extraction system where I used to work, but you still used to get that dust settle. You know, you're using power tools, and you know, you're still getting dust in the air, and you know, you still get that dust settle. I know bigger companies, they have these air filtration systems around the working areas to minimise that. But yeah, so this is the iTech. I really do apologise about this, but this is the iTech spindle moulder. There you go, that's a bit better. So I've had to improve the fence, and I'll do a bit of a video on that if people want to see it. But I've had to improve the fence, put some feather guards on there. The actual way it was holding the pieces as you was pushing them through, it wasn't particularly very good. So I've had to kind of come up with a bit of a different system for that. Again, very much like starting out machinery. This is the start right planer thicknesser. Man, when I was working out the back of the van, like trying to plane timber to sectional sizes, you know, we all come up against it, you need that little bit of timber cut to a certain size, and it's very difficult. And I'm so glad that I've got that now. It's a real headache that's disappeared for me. This bit behind me is my extractor. So it's got a good filter on there for fine dust obviously off the panel saw. And I mean, it separates the shavings, so you know it's got a cyclone. It's a cyclone system, so it tries to separate a lot of the large dust into the bin. The fine dust goes into this bag. You turn the filters and try and unclog it. It's okay. It's, you know, I can see there's a few flaws in it that I've up to now. I am actually going to be ducting this system. It might be something that I do a little brief video on again if there's interest. You know, I might do an interest. In fact, I've actually got, I'll show you, I have actually got what I'm going to be using, and it is just literally soil pipe. Some people are going to say that, you know, it's, you know, you got to watch for static build up and things like that, which I understand, but because I'm such a small workshop, I don't really think that's going to be an issue, and I don't tend to put a lot of wood products through at the moment. That may change, and obviously it's something that I have to deal with as it crops up, but I really don't think there's going to be that much of an issue, and the price point and just the ease of use and setup. You know, I'm going to go with that now. Obviously in the future you'd really ideally have like a proper, you know, ducted metal system really. But that's what it is. I'm just going to literally briefly show you. I've got one job put together, which is a wardrobe job. I've got to do the doors, so it's just the carcassing, and I'm actually currently in a process of making an oak bookcase. I've got all the components knocking around because I've had to put some clear varnish on everything before I construct it. I just found that was going to be easier. What I'll do is I'll put 2 coats on all the panels first as individual items, and then I'll do one final coat once it's together, just in case if there's any little bits that I need to sand or not quite right. I can clean that up and then put a final coat on once it's all together. So this is one of the problems with you know, a wood-based industry. I'm sure everyone's up against the same things, but you know, there's down here is some of the wood waste. I've got some things in place to dispose of that, fairly economical and environmentally friendly as well, which is good. You know, it's wood-based product, so it's either can be recycled or burnt. And if it's on a system where it's heating a factory or an industrial unit, it's, you know, it's a bit more of a greener way of disposing it rather than just going to landfill. Same with the other offcuts. You know, it is burnable within a commercial sector, so I do try and dispose of it in good, sustainable and environmental friendly ways as best you can. So this is the wardrobe. These are the wardrobes behind me. It's a bit crap really. I mean, yeah, you just see a white box, but it's quite a cool little thing on this one is they've got pull-out drawers. So for shoes, so the drawers pull out, and they're on a side-mounted, not under-mount, just a side-mount drawer runner, and they're on a slow close. So they've got quite nice handles on there. Yeah. So just some nice recessed handles, and so that's going to be going out the workshop next in a couple of weeks' time actually. Yeah, it's booked in to go out. Yeah, behind me is part of this bookcase. That's the worktop there, glued up. There's bits kind of all over the place really. I am actually, you know, in the process of building that today. I'm not going to do a video on that. I've got to kind of think about, you know, I'm probably going to do like a bit of a series of videos and split them up so people can kind of pick and choose what they want to be watching, you know, some about products and some about workshop, because some people are going to be like myself and interested in what my setup is, and you know, maybe skim a few ideas off me, and other people are just purely going to want to see like what I'm making and all products that I'm using. So yeah, so I'm going to call it quits at that. It's gone on longer than I thought it would. Again, if you like what I'm doing and you know you think you want to see a little bit more of this, then subscribe. And any comments, I appreciate the comments. And yeah, just you know, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.